Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. In celebration of my 5-year full-time entrepreneur anniversary, I'm going to walk you through my business and seasons and go over some of the highlights of my career. All right, let's open the book and take a look. Let's see. Oh my goodness, the never say what you can't do video. Wow, this is taking it back. This is taking it back as far back as it can go. So I think I was 19 or 20 when I did this video on YouTube. Backstory, I had a full ride scholarship to Howard University on engineering, and I got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug because Lisa Price, the founder of Carol's Daughter, came on campus and talked about her entrepreneurial journey, and I was like, OMG, I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I want to be an entrepreneur. So I was trying to start this hair care business. My grades plummeted. I ended up losing my scholarship, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I remember sobbing and boo-hooing on the phone to my mom, and she was like, girl, toughen up, basically. Like, are you kidding me? She was like, you know that there are women who are getting their degrees, who are single moms with 3 kids, working 2 jobs. Like, never say what you can't do. And she gave me kind of this rally the troops speech. In that video, I was really sharing, what my mom had said to me and kind of embarking on the journey that would start my career here in women's empowerment and online business. Little did I know, but really just telling my few viewers and small audience that I had at the time that I was committing to turning my situation around, and I was never gonna tell myself what I couldn't do. Oh, wow. Okay, this is the Style Your Life panel and workshop event. Wow, all right. After that Never Say What You Can't Do video, I did turn things around. I got my grades back up, got another scholarship, was able to graduate school, but I got a full-time job in Dallas, Texas, and I was still trying to build this business on the side. I was still blogging, and so I was so nervous because I didn't know anyone in Dallas. I went on Instagram and found natural hair bloggers in Dallas and just a bunch of people that I didn't even really know. I just literally hit them up on social media, and they agreed, and we all did this joint event together called the Style Your Life event. Quite a few people showed up, which was really cool. Oh, my book! Get What You Want, the ultimate guide to figuring out and getting what you want. So this workbook came out of the Style Your Life event. So while I was at the event, I was asking women what they needed help with. And the women in attendance kept saying, hey, it's the end of the year, New Year's resolutions are coming up. We have no idea how to set goals and actually achieve them. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to create a workbook that shows women how to break their goals down. And that's where the Get What You Want workbook came from. All right, so here's where things started to pick up steam, and I will forever be grateful to Miley Teal of Curlbox because she really took a chance on me and shared me with her audience, and this was really amazing. So in October of 2015, I ended up doing this really cool self-discipline challenge with Miley. My audience loves Miley, right? And she has a podcast that they all listen to. And so every once in a while, someone in my audience would say, hey, do you follow Miley Teal? You should listen to her podcast. You'd really enjoy it. It's really cool. So I was like, okay. And so one day, I think probably at work, I just binge listened to all of her podcasts, and she had a lot, all the way back from 2014. One day when I needed a blog post, because I was, blogging regularly at the time, trying to grow my audience, I was like, oh, since my audience loves my league, I'm just gonna turn all these notes that I've taken from her podcast into a blog post. And so I did, and then I put the title of the blog post, notes from @Miley Teal's podcast. And so I used the @ for Miley Teal because I knew my audience, if they would share it on Twitter, it would ping her because her Twitter handle is @Miley. She hit me up and was like, wow, this is really good. I'm really impressed. Do you want to do a collaboration together? And I was like, what? Me? I could not believe it. I will be forever grateful. And right at January 2016, I had the opportunity of a lifetime, and I was invited to the White House for the Obama administration's I Have a Dream workshop for a collaboration with their Council on Women and Girls and My Brother's Keeper initiative. And I got to speak on women in entrepreneurship, minorities in entrepreneurship. I could not believe it, Actually, a connection from Howard had been following me and seeing everything that I was doing and threw my name in the hat and invited me to have this once in a lifetime opportunity. And I just couldn't believe it. But get this, I still hadn't even quit my job yet, right? I had to put in PTO in order to travel to DC to speak at the White House to do this workshop. So that was in January 2016, and by August 2016 was the big day. I finally got to quit my job. So I think at that time, I had a really huge month. So I had hired my first business coach. Hey girl, hey, Danielle Morel. She's my business bestie and was like my fairy god sister. And she swooped in and really taught me online sales and how to really become a coach, because at this time I was just selling a lot of digital products. And so a lot of people were saying, you really should think about coaching people. And I was like, no one's gonna hire me to coach them. Like, I didn't go to school for coaching, I can't do that. And everyone was like, you really should. So I started to put my feelers out there, and I started to launch a few very small coaching programs. And I worked with Danielle, and she taught me how to sell on the phone and how to start coaching people. The digital products were great. You know, I was making $7,000, $9,000. Like, I had my sights on being able to quit my job. But once I started incorporating coaching into the mix, the stuff blew up, right? So I think in like that July, I had a 5-figure month, and then August, I made like $32,000, or it was something crazy. And I had been telling my husband, like, look, I wanna quit my job. And so he had given me like a number that we needed to have in savings. And so with me blowing these sales numbers out of the water, I had basically made more money than I would have made at my corporate job had I stayed throughout the rest of the year, like all the way through December. So ever being the marketer, it wasn't enough just for me to quit my job. I had to turn it into a whole month. So I held How to Quit Your Job Month. And so I invited some of my biz besties, again, Danielle Morel. I had Dominique Broadway join me on some things. It was really the turning point of like, wow, this is my first big campaign as a full-time entrepreneur. And then in March of 2017, I got to travel across the pond and meet some of my followers in Paris and London. And so I had 2 meetups, one in Paris, one in London. It was amazing, especially the London meetup, because I was really shocked at how many people came out. But we met at a restaurant, and we like shut that restaurant down. Like, they were closing, and they basically had to kick us out. We were there all night. I cannot wait to do that again. That was so much fun. Shout out to all of my London followers. Y'all are amazing. I cannot wait to come back. And so by this time, I'm doing quite a few events. Again, I think I was just so excited that I didn't have a boss looking over my shoulder and I could travel wherever I wanted. This was actually before I had my son, so I was doing a lot of events because it was real easy to travel when you don't have kids. But I held the Powerhouse Event. I did this one actually locally in Dallas. This one was a lot of fun, but this one was really important to me because I also wanted to start pivoting to talking about how to own your power as a woman, how to build your business while still being successful, you know, in your marriage. I had my eyes toward wanting to become a mother, so I had my eyes toward being successful while running a family. And so I really just wanted to start having this conversation. All right, this was a huge, huge highlight. My event in New Orleans. This was my first conference, y'all. My first conference. So I was so nervous, pulling my hair out. So many women came out. Again, I was shocked. We had an opening at an art gallery portion of the hotel, and we had a DJ there, and everybody was dancing just to meet each other. And it was so much fun. It was so good. Oh, and this is really memorable because I was 9 weeks pregnant when I held this event. Yes, some of my followers were like, I knew you were pregnant, but yeah, I was trying to keep it under wraps and be the superwoman at the same time. And then in 2018, I got featured in the print edition of Essence magazine, which truly was a dream come true. I mean, come on, as a little black girl, growing up, reading Essence, that's the pinnacle. I would look at all my mom's Essence magazines and look at these beautiful women on the cover and all of that. It was great, not just to be featured online, but to be to see my name in a print magazine. Couldn't believe it. And then October 2018, I made the big pivot, and I had transitioned my brand from Think and Grow Chick, which is what it was formerly, to my own name, CourtneyLSanders.com. And it was the stars were aligning, so many things were happening. It was just really perfect. So I just had my son, and we were actually moving from Dallas to Houston. I had revamped my website, and so the timing of everything was like lining up perfectly. And so I planned it where I was going to release and announce this new brand pivot at the same time that I was moving to Houston. And so I remember I did this video trailer. I shot this like video trailer myself. I edited it myself. Like I was so excited, but I did this big reveal that Think and Grow Chick is now CourtneyLSanders, and your girl is based in Houston, Texas. And then in 2019, I got invited to speak at the United Nations in New York City. I still can't believe I said that. Like, as if the White House wasn't enough. Again, another like Howard connection. This is actually the wife of a friend of mine that I went to school with. Again, saw everything that I was doing, saw that I had had the baby and that I was still running my business. And so this particular event was called Birthing Babies, Building Businesses. And it was so perfect because I had just birthed a baby a few months ago. So it's just so funny to me how every season of your life is like perfect timing. And then huge highlight, January 2020, I was selected as a sponsored MBA student for Capella University. I got to be a brand ambassador. I'm still a brand ambassador for them. As I'm recording this, I am finishing up my MBA, but this was a lifelong dream of mine. Like I've always wanted to go back to school. I've always wanted to get at least my master's degree. In the future, I would love to be an adjunct professor at a local university and teach students entrepreneurship, but I knew I couldn't do that if I didn't have at least a master's degree. And so I remember like talking to my husband about this and saying like, in the future, I think I want to go back to school. How can we save up for this? MBA programs are super expensive. I'm like, oh my goodness, we have to save like $100,000 because, you know, we didn't want to take out student loans in order to do this. And so I was just, you know, really thinking about this. And I remember like praying like half in jest, like, oh God, if you could make a way where I could like go to school and, you know, be able to do this, like, let me know. And then literally without any prompting from me, Capella reached out to me and they're like, we love the work that you're doing. We'd love to do a partnership with you where you can come on as a sponsored MBA student and share your MBA journey. And I was like, did this really just happen? Like, thank you, God. So even with everything going on, was still just an amazing year for my brand. More memorable moments. So I gave birth to my baby girl. So now I'm a mom of 2, which is really awesome. So also I got to interview another huge person in women's empowerment, which is Sarah Jakes Roberts. She was amazing. Got to have her on my podcast and also on my YouTube channel. And then also, so I'm being like kind of bashful about this, but also, at the beginning of 2021, my husband and I found out that we had a 7-figure net worth and that we were millionaires. So again, this was a huge milestone for me to have been building this business for all this time, you know, all the struggling and different things that I did when I was working my full-time job, trying to figure this out. Obviously, the story is not over. I'm really excited about the chapters that are still yet to be written. And I hope this gives you some insight on how far we've come, but also where we're going. And so I'm just so grateful to you if you're watching this. That means that you've been on the journey with me, but I'm just forever grateful to you. And I just ask that you continue to stick around because the best is yet to come.